Ooh, this is a tough one. Come on in, come on in. Let's talk about this. Not seeing the end of them closing. Everything from grocery stores to banks to pharmacies, etc. Well, they're still shutting those things down. Nothing's changed. Things actually getting even worse. And to top that off, we're going to throw back in there some more food shortages. So Bank of America has detailed plans to enter 9 new markets, all while still shutting down branches. What exactly is happening, and how can we manage to stay afloat with all of these things that are going on around us? We have to keep our head on a swivel because people are stealing things left and right. We just getting it from all ends. So by 2026, the Charlotte-based bank will be in Omaha, Nebraska, Louisville, Kentucky, Boise, Idaho, Birmingham, and Huntsville, Alabama, Madison, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, New Orleans, and Dayton, Ohio. The news comes 2 weeks after the president of Preferred Banking detailed some of the new markets Bank of America would be entering. So while he was speaking at a Morgan Stanley conference, he said the bank would prioritize opening in the new markets while pursuing net reduction in bank branches. The new markets represent areas where there are already clients using either Merrill, Bank of America's Wealth Management Division, Business Banking, or Global Commercial Bank. The first of the 2 new markets are 2 branches in Omaha, which will open by the end of the year. By year's end, the bank will be open 55 centers nationwide after opening 58 last year. Mind you, they are still closing bank branches. So please stay tuned because I have a long list of all of the Bank of America branches, where they're located, that will be closing in this video. So share this video out, you guys. When it comes to reducing the bank branch numbers, despite the openings, the bank's current strategy is to shrink its physical presence and focus on its 56 million digital users. They don't want you coming in the store. Not a lot of people coming in the store. So we're going to push everything online. So you're either going to get on board or you just need to hop off this train. So the intention is to close 2 bank branches for every new one that opens. So out of all the ones that they're opening, they're going to close 2 branches for each of those. So that takes me back to the paragraph where it says they will open 55 new banks by the end of the year. 2 closing for each that's open, y'all. That's 110 more bank branches that are going to be closing by the end of the year. Watch your money. Sit you some money aside so you have access. If you can set money aside so you can have access. All of the branches that were closed temporarily during the pandemic will remain closed. They are not reopening those. So if you were waiting on that and it hasn't opened up yet, they're not going to. So continual closing of branches will be more gradual than the 525 closed in the past 2 years. That's how many they've closed. 525 in 2 years, you guys. Reducing in-person facility reflects a decrease in in-person transactions. People continue to shift online banking, so that is why they are closing these branches. Not to mention, this is going to save them money in the end. So there is no end date to the continual closure of financial centers. By the end of this year, Bank of America will have renovated 2,500 of its branches to have a total of 3,900 modern financial centers. The renovations prioritize offices and meeting spaces for those who need to talk to representatives in person. But most likely, I've seen places like that where you actually have to either make an appointment or you got to ring a buzzer before you can go in and talk to someone. They're not doing any other kind of financial dealings in there, though. And I guess I was right, because the article goes on to say that people will drive a little longer. They'll make more appointments to go talk to someone about their financial life, about a mortgage, about a small business. And so you can change the nature of why a financial center exists. It's gone from transactional to relationship to a broader, more sophisticated set of conversations. But my thoughts on this whole thing is, what about the elderly people who still use the bank and like to go into the bank because they like to physically touch their money? They like to physically write things out and deposit checks and things like that. What if they're not into the online thing? I guess they got to get on board too, or find someone to get them on board. Why are these banks all closing like this? So during the coronavirus pandemic, some financial institutions were forced to close locations temporarily due to labor shortages and increase in infections. But after the health emergency, banks have decided to close certain branches. This is due to a number of factors, including the rise of online banking, competition from online banking, and a drop in transaction at physical branches. The demand for increased digitalization, as well as existence of locations that are not profitable and have a high cost. So no one wants to be paying this high rent for this property right here. So we can move on to online. That is what we're going to do. Let's get into the banks that are closing and where they are closing, because Bank of America is just one of the banks that will be closing several branches this month and many more in the months to come. Here are the number of branches that will close and where they are located. So the Office of Comptroller, the OCC, at least 90 days prior to closing date, banks have to give advance notice that they will be shutting down. They needed 90 days advance notice. That means if they put in their 90 days, that would have been like in March. So now they are closing this month. So in the March 4th newsletter, the OCC reported the closure of 3 branches: Riverside Plaza in Chicago, Illinois, West Mission Banking Center in Escondido, California. I probably butchered that. And one marketplace in San Francisco, California, which California does surprise me because everything's shutting down in California. So upcoming Bank of America closures. In the April newsletter, 13 more Bank of America branches were reported to be closing, taking into account that the announcement was, 90 days prior. So that means the closure of offices in these cities will take place in July. And that is Auburn, Washington, Lynchburg, Virginia, Bloomingdale, Illinois, McHenry, Illinois, Seattle, Washington, Pinecrest, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Los Angeles, California, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Portland, Oregon, Chino Hills, California, and Hoboken, New Jersey. Sorry if I butchered your city. But those are the locations that Bank of America is closing. And those are 13 locations. 13 more Bank of America branches reported to be closing in July. The ones I just gave you, those are the ones that are closing. The other 3 are closing this month in June. The newsletter from May, the Bank of America reported 12 more branches, noting that the OCC requires the 90-day in advance. So that means these locations will be closing in August. Rialto, California, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Hyattsville, Maryland, Riverdale, Maryland, Independence, Missouri, Troy, Missouri, Costa Mesa, California, Mesa, Arizona, Flower Mound, Texas, Silver Spring, Maryland, Houston, Texas, Benton, Washington. Renton, Washington. And then finally, in the first newsletter of June, the OCC informed the upcoming closure of 3 branches. These locations will be closing in September. Brocktown, Massachusetts is closing 2 locations. San Marcos, California is closing 1 location. So guys, that's a lot of banks that are closing this year. Bank of Americas that are closing. So I will try to, once a month at least update y'all and let y'all know, because I gave y'all all of them from now all the way to September. So once a month, I'll try to give a refresher on just the ones that are closing for that month. But I want you guys to at least know in advance. So let me know what you think down in the comments. You can find this article on Yahoo News. And I will talk to you in the next video. I'm trying to keep the videos as short as I possibly can, so I can still give you news that you can use and do more stories in one day. So again, take care. See you in the next video. Do me a favor, help me out. Get me in the algorithm by hitting that like button and sharing the video out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. We would love for you to become one of our cousins here on Tommy Bites TV. I love you, but God loves you more. He created only one you. Be the best you that you can be. And when you are, go out and spread God's love. Peace, love, and light. Thanks for being here on Tommy Bites TV.